really been relevant, but we will see what the power picks and bans will be here, since we are still on patch 6.3 for this week. The live version of the game is currently 6.4, so this is what people were playing on a couple of days ago before the patch.
Graves Poppy are going to be the start. We've seen a lot of people banning that Graves now away from Feng, away from Procxin, trying to get the power out of that top lane and really make them go with something that is kind of just consistent, not that completely carry the game itself.
Yeah, Gragas was the most picked champion across the European and North American LCS last week. Falls on the ban phase, even though Dardoch had a relatively underwhelming game with it. Also have to note, I was tweeting to Locodoco, you know, thank you for letting me cast an Udyr game when they lost to Immortals. He said, you know, I think our Udyr's a lot better than what we showed. We'll show it better in the LCS next time. So I got my hopes up already that we'll see an Udyr somewhere in this pick ban phase. Team Liquid has the flexibility of being red side here to possibly land some counter picks. So we'll see if the situation is right, and I hope to see it.
It would be a pleasure to get a cast with you and the Man Bear Turtle Phoenix.
It would be my second time.
It would.
Casting Udyr. Maybe a chance to cast him winning.
What are the chances? You play it professionally and then you never get to cast it. Lulu Callista now banned out, so we see a few more top tiers. Safety for the Kog'Maw that could be played, also banned away. Feng looking at the Nidalee gives Procxin a chance to be a bit aggressive in the early game. Yeah,
the Nidalee is something that is very often first picked lately. The speed at which Nidalee can clear the jungle, and also the safety in which Nidalee can counter jungle, because she gets so much movement speed, pouncing through brushes, also able to hop over walls. It's just really, really hard to shut that down in any way, shape, or form.
Still going for the Kog'Maw. They feel like they can protect it. We'll see what else they put on the board, but Liquid chooses a pretty squishy comp to start.
Yeah, well, keep in mind, Kog'Maw is still absolutely ridiculous on patch 6.3. It's actually banned in most games, so the fact that it fell through and then Team Impulse decided that first picking Nidalee was more important means it is also very important to lock down the Kog'Maw. They do not have Lulu there to protect it, or a Braum, so two of the best protectors of the Kog'Maw aren't available, but it is still an absurd amount of damage.
I wonder what Impulse is thinking here too, because they say we'll ban the Lulu and then we'll be able to make this comp. But now do they say let's get the comp to kill Kog'Maw? We'll switch things around, play what you're comfortable with. They probably aren't changing too much, but the Bard does come out, something to get to that backline as well with the Ahri. And you're looking at the Janna and the Lee Sin, a little help for disengage and safety.
Yeah, Dardoch, we will see the debut of his Lee Sin here on the LCS stage, which will be pretty exciting.
Yes,
and then,
it will.
Matt's Janna, just because all the other protection options had kind of been gone from Kog'Maw, makes sense in this context. And the actual initiation from Team Impulse, yes, a Bard can add, but you need to be able to follow up after the fact. So they do not have much in their team right now.
I like the Bard more for the fact that they're taking it away from Matt. He's looked really good on that champion. Definitely helps hurt the initiation, if you will, of FeniX and the rest of the team. And what does FeniX have? It looks like that Corki will be his as the first pick, and it would sit. And then the Kog'Maw. So it's going to be top lane here. Lourlo is actually going to get that. As on the other side, Impulse waits for pick 4-5 for themselves.
Yeah, they're probably going to try and pick some really hard initiation here to try and get in on the Kog'Maw. And I actually wouldn't be too surprised if Team Liquid just picked Nautilus here, because it's against a Malphite, and you can either go the split pushing Nautilus build or just a monster tank, which, with the way Team Impulse has their team set up, would be a very good front line to stop people from following up on a Malphite initiation. Add that to the fact that the Poppy is banned, which is what Lourlo had been relying on a lot.
What are they doing? Lourlo, mainly on tanks. You got the Nautilus right. Looks like they will lock that in. And it's going to be the Malphite Nautilus lane. Lee Sin, Nidalee. Looking at that Corki versus TF mid. And then the AD carry lane of Kog'Maw, Janna. So not a whole lot of protection for Kog'Maw. Piglet's definitely going to have to do some moving and shaking on this one. There is safety there, but not what you would think.
I do like the Team Liquid composition. I think they have a decent amount of cohesion considering the bans, and still managed to pick up a lot of the power picks. And Team Impulse kind of had to make sure they go all in on the initiation right at the end, which made the lane matchups for Team Liquid fairly easy to pick around. The Corki will do fine against the Twisted Fate. The Nautilus will be very easy to lane against the Malphite. So I do slightly favor the Team Liquid draft here, but Team Impulse does have the initiation, so with proper execution, they'll be able to take down Piglet's Kog'Maw.
See Feng can still make an impact from that top lane. He's had quite a diverse champion pool since he's been back, but like Cyrene said, having quite a bit of trouble after they got that first win with the team. Impulse and Liquid really needing to make a move here to keep an eye on those playoff spots. As the coaches head off, it's now up to you guys. Will Liquid keep themselves in running for the playoffs, or will Team Impulse catch them in the standings? Let us know by tweeting at LOL Esports, the hashtag TIP win or the hashtag TL win. We'll make sure to tally up those votes as we get into game. You've seen the comms. Piglet now on the Kog'Maw without too much protection, but we know him to be kind of going on to champions where he can say, I will carry this game. Give me a few of the utilities I need, and we'll get to the Nexus.
Yeah, and Piglet's positioning has been immaculate throughout the split. So if there's a champion that needs to be able to position properly so he can sit still and fire, it's a good one. And it's not the ideal protection composition for the Kog'Maw, but it's still pretty good because of the Janna and also Nautilus. It's very hard to walk past a Nautilus. He roots you with his auto attacks. He slows you every 4 seconds with his E, and then his Q and R are even more powerful CC tools. So very difficult, actually. Nautilus can be used as a protection champion as well as Janna and as well as Lee Sin. So a lot of appeal there for Team Liquid.
I do like it. Lourlo can go in on that choosy damage target to ult and start locking up the rest. Be tricky. We'll see how they take to it. And it's going to be Impulse here. Right to the bottom side. Get some wards in, and they will be safe on that. It's not going to be the same trade, but not as deep for the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a blind invade from Team Impulse. They invade all 5 into that side of the jungle. With Bard and Twisted Fate at level 1, Bard's Q is really, really good for catching people off, especially when you're invading the jungle, so not the most dangerous invade. But what it does mean is that Team Liquid can go back by a sweeper and clear one of the deep wards, but yeah, it means the Team Liquid got deep wards in tip side as well because of the blind invade. It doesn't gain them much, but it does posture and kind of say they're going for lane swap, but then both teams fake each other out, and we're actually going to get standard lanes.
Something I like, play-by-plays always want to see the fights. We have Cleanse in the mid lane here for FeniX. He's looking to stay away from gold cards. And already the red damage to come in. So, Pirean starting with pick a card, trying to add a little bit of aggression to the lane and doesn't even worry. This first wave is just going to get him to level 2. You can see they don't care about the damage. It'll be interesting, though, to keep an eye on the first bit of jungle pressure since those lanes won't be helping to push turrets as their standard. Exactly,
and Nidalee has been a pretty high performer in standard lanes because of how quickly the Nidalee can clear the jungle. Red buff right here. Sometimes the Nidalee just goes straight after level 3 and invades the blue buff and then tries to fight the jungler there. Also have to track that with whether or not Procxin decides to gank mid, since FeniX is looking to push in fairly early. So already 2.5 minutes into the game, we're getting some pretty important jungle decisions. Procxin has actually not had the cleanest jungle clear, and he's quite low.
Pretty effective there at the Raptors. Cosmic Binding just misses on Piglet stepping forward. He's actually walking up towards the wave to get those attacks in. Mash is trading back nicely. So even trade. Both teams trying to get a bit of an advantage here in the lane, but no level 2 advantage gained.
Yeah, but I mean, you can already see the speed difference between these two junglers.
Yeah, Procxin's flying.
Yeah, Procxin's at the blue buff. Dardoch just finishing his corner of the jungle.
If you could place a ward and safeguard all the time, you could make Nidalee range.
Yeah, one of the more ridiculous parts about jungle Nidalee is the fact that the spear roots the crab to make you deal more damage to it. There we go. Full health. Level 4 and able to get a nice flank on this gank. Lourlo will have to watch out here.
Throws over the wall, so he's got safety. And he's going to be coming up to the brush. No word from Lourlo just yet. This will be the flash on 5 minutes. Nice mark. The shield goes on to mitigate some of the early damage, but he should be able to make it under the turret. Gets himself in front of the enemy. Oh, Procxin, no! Goes in, he's getting the attacks! That's the passive! That's the Riptide! And Cat's down! Procxin goes down for first blood.
Procxin kind of lost his mind right there. Lourlo saved his flash in case that gank was going to happen, and you can absolutely flash away from the pounce damage. Whew. Total disrespect there by Procxin thinking that Lourlo wasn't going to have the reaction time to flash a Nidalee pounce, but he misses all of the spells once he dives in. Lourlo roots him with the auto attack, gets first blood and double buffs. So in what could have been a beautiful gank by Procxin, Lourlo was going to be pushed back in turret, losing a big wave. The lane would have been frozen. He would have basically lost the lane off of this gank right here. Lourlo, he's already lost the lane. You do not need to punish him more. Watch this. Flashes, misses his swipe as well because of the flash. And yeah, Lourlo just presses his buttons after a nice reaction flash and gets rewarded after a gank that should have shut him down.
Already in the face of Procxin, Dardoch says, you may have a kill. I'm still going to try to mess with your jungle. We'll see how Feng can get back into this one. Gate taking quite a bit of damage. Great focus from Piglet and Matt. Mash is on the side trying to deal damage. Piglet doesn't even really see him. That double TP coming in. One is stopped. That's going to be Feng staying in the top lane.
Oh.
And both have been topped. Another jungler died. Oh, this one is going to go well for Team Liquid.
Oh, no.
Wow. This game right now, back and forth, mainly going in the favor of Team Liquid every time it tries to go back in the favor of Impulse.
Heavily going in the favor of Team Liquid Riv, and some rather crazy engagements. A lot of the time, you know, at least before the buffs in patch 6.3, Kog'Maw was weak in the early lane and had to be very passive, but if he presses his W, especially with a Janna shield on him, he's going to be able to rip through a fair amount of damage, and the early trade on here is favorable to them, but the main thing is the level advantages. It's 2 level 4s versus 2 level 3s, so Team Impulse needed to back away pretty much right from the get-go here. The Janna shield comes in right at the end. Both teleports are canceled because they didn't think they'd be able to clear on Mash, and then if Tip would have teleported, then they would have died to the 2 people. Mash does flash away, but the main difference here between the Lee Sin and the Nidalee dive is the fact that he's ganking someone where he has some backup. The shield from Matt is able to keep him alive just long enough. They secure yet another kill.
Quick movement in the early game here. So Procxin trying to start a lot, really lighting the fuse in each lane, but it seems to have backfired so far. Lourlo.
A level 6 Nautilus.
Gonna get a hit on Feng. That's the flash down, so he doesn't have any more ground to gain. And that's a nice hit. Team Liquid gets one now onto Feng.
Yeah, and there are a lot of misplays happening from Team Impulse right now. A Nautilus ultimate will follow you through your flash. He had the Nautilus ultimate channel on him, flashed away anyway, and then it easily lines up for Dardoch to land his Lee Sin Q. So he's pretty much dead regardless. The only way Feng can avoid that is, if possible, if he waits for the knockup to hit and then flashes before a Lee Sin Q happens.
Right.
He makes it too easy on Team Liquid, and a lot of these kills are kind of being gifted to Team Liquid, which speaks to Team Impulse's lackadaisical early game. We said at 15 minutes they're averaging an over 2,000 gold deficit. Well, they're 1,500 gold down at 7 minutes this game, so it is going from bad to worse.
Kind of giving the other team gold at this point with the ganks not going as well as they would like. Still, pressure being able to add to the lane here from Piglet, and they don't seem to be respecting it too much. The binding slows them down, but setting things up here for Dardoch. Pink wards down the lane. Gate's gonna walk right into this one. The ward just to the left to get the angle on the kick that he wanted, and another kill for Piglet. Well, I guess it's the first. He's got assists, but on a silver platter.
Yeah, Dardoch has been everywhere, and this is a snowball effect from when Procxin gave away his double buffs in the top lane. Nidalee is supposed to have a jungle speed advantage over Lee Sin, which prevents him from getting all these free ganks. But now the fact that Dardoch is more farmed than the Nidalee, Procxin has to defer to Dardoch, and it just unlocks Lee Sin to kind of be his old ridiculous self. Dardoch also playing it very well. Beautiful ward jump into the kick right there, and Team Liquid is running away with this.
So we'll see. Dragon now going over to Team Liquid. Procxin's been in the face, Dardoch has been in the face of Procxin even after we saw him in the top lane, making sure the cat stays down. And again, just a few steps behind Dragon going down. And this mid lane actually hasn't gotten too much damage. Who's that really going to favor, actually? 73 to 64, but we haven't seen the TF add map pressure yet.
Absolutely. I think this is a favored matchup for Corki in the first 6 or 7 levels. He has better wave clear and just better trading overall. And the way that a Twisted Fate would try and come back in the game as usual is to try and impact the side lane. So it's really on FeniX to just keep the pressure on Pirean, keep the wave pushing his turret, keep him low, so that if he does go for a gank, he loses turret pressure.
Exactly what's happening. Going over to the left, this is one of the times he's left lane just to grab a blue, but he's forced in to clean up this wave. 2K gold lead, 2.4K going in the favor of Team Liquid. We're just coming up on 10 minutes.
Yeah. This one is worse than average for Team Impulse, and it's a great bounce back for Team Liquid as well, because they themselves are also coming off an 0-2 week. They had tough matchups. They played the remodeled Echo Fox as well as the Unstoppable Immortals, so a tough 0-2 week, but you know, they are bouncing back well. The willingness to go for those early game plays has really paid off for them this game.
And it's allowing them to feel comfortable champs they got in select and some of those high priority ones we were talking about as well to make a pretty nice composition. FeniX can easily make plays on this Corki late game. Just needs the chance. Already pushing the lane up, making sure that Pirean has to stay in that one. Procxin down to the bottom side here. He's waiting on the wing to see if they get any catch. Maybe it's going to be the Tempered Fate, but Gate is 5, so they might be planning a fast level here if he gets it in time. Matt is 6, so it should be soon for Gate.
Yeah, well, they're going to try and stop. Piglet gets rooted.
Oh, Matt, step back. Piglet took quite a bit of damage. Double hit. Feng misses with the flashes from Liquid. They're under Pirean. Gate and Mash now under the turret. Dardoch went a little too hard. Now we're back to Liquid side. 3 on the outside of the turret, but they have grabbed 2 for 1. With quite a few summoners being blown.
Yeah, FeniX with the package into the turret, and it becomes a 5v5 turret dive, but Team Liquid has such a big lead, and Pirean teleported in on top of the package burn, which does more damage than Rumble Ultimate, so
again,
they're going to look to continue this.
The Malphite under the turret, another shot, FeniX forward, it's the Frost Bomb connection, and now they're onto the turret. Liquid not giving Impulse an inch.
Yeah, Feng is not at the point where he is a big tank right now, so if they do get some CC down on him under the turret, no one on the team has shields or heals. They are also all out of summoner spells, so they actually had to concede that turret, and it just leads to even more pain. So let's actually watch this, because the ward is spotted, and because they catch Piglet, all the teleports come in, but then the package is used pretty much as the Twisted Fate ultimate goes off. So Pirean already taking damage from the package. He's exhausted right on top of it.
Yeah. And
it just creates this zone that stops Team Impulse from getting any kills forward, and also makes it difficult for them to run away. So even though the turret was there, it wasn't that big of a problem for Team Liquid, who now have a massive lead.
And look who's back for mid lane farm. 110 to 96 as that begins to grow. FeniX with that blue buff can easily clean all of this up. See how Impulse can really start to claw themselves back into this one. So far, it hasn't been grouping up Team Liquid whatsoever.
Yeah.
2-0-3 Lourlo. He was the first focus of the game. And for many teams, it might be the top laner. Lourlo has had a bit of trouble in his games, hasn't been able to do too strong. Feng as well, so why not get him going? And it backfired. Yeah,
specifically, when Immortals was up against Team Liquid, they said our game plan was going to be to shut down Lourlo. And they did. They just heavily ganked his lane. They even had a mid laner roam up top for a 3-man gank when he was level 5, and they ruined his day. This time, again, they try and get early gank, and it wasn't like a difference in Team Liquid strategy, like Dardoch was there for a counter, but he was playing safe enough that he dodged the gank, and then he capitalized on the other team over-aggressing. And he's reaping the rewards of that.
A quick banner of command as well has already been used by him, as that was his first item. And here's the snowball continuing to roll down the hill, top tier 2. Being taken down, and they're actually pinging on the turret. They have assist calls coming in as well. I think it's just to clear. The call is actually to head out.
Yeah.
It pings on to Rift Herald. Grab that and get somebody pushing the lane.
Yeah, well, this game is just so accelerated right now. We're only 12.5 minutes in. You're thinking, okay, they killed the second-tier turret in top lane.
Like, here they go for Bear.
Normally you turn around for Bear. Calm down. 7 minutes away from that being a possibility. So they'll just take the good old Rift Herald, as Team Impulse sent a bunch of people bottom lane. Yeah, Team Liquid has a huge edge. They're hitting their item power spikes, and I think they're going to continue to group around the map and just force down turrets.
They've been doing it picture perfect so far. The mistake would be to slow down and give Impulse time here. They still have a wombo combo comp. You get a good Tempered Fate into a Malphite, and you are going to be in the wrong spot. Our Pirean will have any time to get in, all the time, I should say, to get in position and find his target.
True. I do kind of think, though, that for that to happen, that type of wombo combo from Team Impulse, they at least need to finish their items. They are actually behind in every major item power spike that you can think of. It's a Rage Blade already being completed, as well as being on his way to a Hurricane for Kog'Maw. Trinity Force Corki, Banner of Command on the Nautilus, which is kind of a power spike. No major items completed, aside from the Lich Bane that Pirean just finished.
Feel good to head in and know that the team is just happy enough to engage on your wombo combo. This does not feel good. Feels bad, man. 8-1. 15 minutes coming up on the time. Definitely an increase, I'd say, unfortunately, as we were saying, for Tip being at such a deficit here in this part of the game. And really nothing has been done to fix it. Liquid's able to grab another objective. really needing to be conceded right now by Impulse with their lack of map focus. Procxin doing what he can, but it's easily just walked over here. They can't even push pig boards forward. Liquid's doing a nice job at kind of strangling this one out.
Yeah, and this is one of those big confidence-building games if you're Team Liquid. You come off an 0-2 week, and everything just kind of goes their way. They have a good draft.
Yep.
They get a lot of high-powered champions. The other team makes a mistake early. They capitalize on it beautifully. They make a bunch of other aggressive plays. Nothing has gone wrong for Team Liquid in this game, and that makes you feel great. And they're using that to just continue this momentum forward in this game.
Confidence to make plays, make moves around the map, and knowing that you have hardly any wards on your side. Right now they're sitting on the 2 far sites and really just the sweeper of map. They know they have control of this as their wards have moved up. And now with vision on tip, clearing waves and whatnot, there'll be more push here. Dardoch's going to enter the jungle as you see Piglet pretty much by himself farming down in the mid lane. That's how confident these guys are.
Yep, and Team Liquid doing a lot to strangle out Tip right now. This is the next natural course of action, and they see the Malphite in the bottom lane, so they're threatening this mid lane turret, but they're also keeping pressure on the side lanes. There's going to be a banner minion in the top lane. Corki is able to farm the bottom lane, decent mobility. He'd be able to make it up in this game as well. And like we said, we're only 15 minutes in, so Team Liquid making sure they don't push too far.
I think that's the part I have to keep reminding myself is this game is accelerating. You look for different things to be happening when you go to a next lane, but still the slow push and everything being set up. No final dives just yet. I don't even think Liquid could make it to the Nexus at this point with the death timers being low, but they're still trying to fish for fights. Why not clear the map that much faster? FeniX is just catching. I don't think he cares though. He likes to play kind of dangerous with his champions and always be able to kind of slip his way out of a situation.
Yeah, it's burned him a few times this year.
Yeah, that's true.
Definitely seen that. But actually, there is not much that Team Impulse can do right now. Based on the early lead from Team Liquid, based on the banner minions being completed before Team Impulse can put a Xerath portal down or anything. Whenever the banner wave starts accumulating, Team Impulse has to send an AD carry to go and clean it because they don't have anything to cork the wave, so to speak.
Now with that Xerath portal even finished, it's going to go towards the bot lane because top still has a second tier 2. Won't get very far. So not getting really the benefit that you can out of this. It'll be able to slow down the lane slightly.
Yeah. But he did put the portal really far back.
Right.
So the minions aren't necessarily going to get caught on it. Will help a little bit pushing it out.
I'll go to cluster at the wave. Focus somewhat towards the bot side jungle here. Yeah.
He doesn't even get the last hit.
Malphite things.
Yeah, another big item completed by Piglet, so he's at a mega power spike 17 minutes in right now. I think basically Team Liquid is waiting on third dragon and Baron.
Yeah. This is a game I feel Piglet himself, he has tried to play it with the team, but the team has tried before where Piglet's on that hard carry, but a few of the lanes die too much, and then he is actually obliterated in the fights because they can get to him immediately. This is all of the pieces coming together in the composition where let's fuel up Piglet and he'll be that guy to go crazy. But it's actually happening in the other lanes as it goes. Piglet hasn't even had time to be in most of these fights that the team is taking. They just end so quickly. Now towards the top side, Rift Herald's going to be theirs once again. They don't want any objectives going over to Impulse. No chance for them to breathe life back into this game. And we're going to be looking at a 6,000 gold lead here as they keep picking up objectives and turrets across the map.
This isn't your Immortals. Game is over by 18 minutes and 12 seconds against Team Impulse. This is more of a Team Liquid. Just don't give them any opportunity.
Very methodical.
To come back in the game. It is. Like, you could make the argument that Team Liquid should be playing this a little faster, and hey man, they have like Lucian and Nautilus, they should be doing turret dives, but they are very comfortable with Corki on their team right now, that they can wait a little bit and just wait for the third dragon and the Baron to be up and then take down the rest of the turrets. And Baron coming up in a minute and 16 seconds. There is no rush for them.
I think that trigger moment is really on the side of Impulse here. What kind of play can they make when you got a FeniX jumping in your face? They actually all turn and have to back up, not knowing what the sides provide for Liquid. They don't know where the team is. Oh, Feng ulted in on the Sonyas. FeniX gets out alive. They're going to be able to start backing up on this one. Nobody's down. The Howling Gale right on the mat. He gets the heal, but he does go down. Feng tries to get himself back in, but they've wasted quite a bit here. I say used quite a bit to get what they've had in the fight. Lourlo very low, but gets a nice Storm Shield in from that. He's going to go down. Wow, what plays coming across so far? That was actually Dardoch coming in with the shield, since Matt is already dead.
Yeah, and it actually comes out to a 1-for-1. Just as I say there's no rush, Team Liquid rushes into a play. FeniX, Valkyrie's forward, burns his cleanse super early in the fight. The rest of the team slowly collapses in, and that was messy, Riv. Feng whiffed his Malphite ultimate early on the Dardoch, which could have secured some nice kills. Whoops-a-daisy. Bard does tick him with 1/2 of his Q. It doesn't connect the second end. But then Matt, instead of flashing towards his team, flashes away from his team, which makes the TF ultimate actually fairly easy to land. Feng then flashes for the finish. And you got to kind of feel for Procxin at this point, as he's like, I can get him. I'm going to jump in again. But Lucian shield, Nautilus auto-attacks him to root him, and it's very easy to kill him because Piglet is Kog'Maw. And Procxin is just a little baby Nidalee. So, you know, was an opportunity for Team Liquid to come back, and maybe kind of a mental check for Team Liquid to be like, yo, we were taking this slow. What gives? Why do we decide to do that random dive?
And to figure out when that hit came in. And we were just talking about that too for FeniX. One of those moments going to bite him. When they kind of get a play effect on the team. And that one bit him in the butt pretty hard. 1-for-1 overall, but they had much stronger of a push if they all stayed as 5. Here we go down towards the bot lane now. You can see Matt trying to get goal side here of the prize. He's going to back himself up to stay with the team safe. That
Bard ultimate to the way.
Shouldn't actually do too much. The calling comes out nicely. Feng's already coming in. That was a TP. Now this is Lourlo's TP, so he comes in. Very nicely timed by him.
Yeah, they're just looking to power down this turret. And if Team Impulse stays right here, I'd imagine Team Liquid will channel a Nautilus ultimate on a squishy while focusing the turret. And then after the turret is down, fully engage the fight. I do not think Team Impulse can defend this without Bard ultimate. But they are still staying there. So we'll see if they can do it. They do not have culling. They just have the Twisted Fate for the wave clear.
Malphite ultimate doesn't seem up. Feng looking for the right hit. Tempered Fate is down. The turret, they got to give it up. Mid lane is the click here for Team Liquid. Ping goes down now. Impulse, they don't have too far to rotate. It should be actually quite easy for them to get back over here and put up some defense. Actually looks like Liquid doesn't want to overstay their welcome. And going back to the methodical business, they saw that they had some trouble when they tried for too much. So back to buy. Core items already coming out. Almost an Infinity Edge here for FeniX, and that's going to start putting down some good damage.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still no vision coverage in the Baron area for Team Liquid, which is where they need to go next with the Kog'Maw.
They've been eyes on objective, but it seems like the fight in the bottom is kind of giving them something else to think about. Back on track.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that is keeping Team Liquid from being in the conversation of the top teams, because they have the potential to pull out these big leads like we saw, was it 5,000 gold at 7 minutes, basically, something crazy like that. But then, every once in a while, Team Liquid will make these great plays in a game, and then also some bad plays in a game, and it will either cost them something in the mid-game. In this case, it's not going to cost them the game, but it's definitely delaying the game.
Right.
They had it set up so they could cleanly take Dragon 3, Baron at 20 minutes, have vision control in the jungle. If they would have just run through all of their things in the proper check-down fashion.
Yeah.
But now they're just a little slow on the play, which gives small opportunities for Team Impulse to come back in.
They also have some nice gold to be picked up as well. 204, 103, 205. If those go to the right targets, Impulse may be able to start making an impact in these fights. FeniX, again, toying, playing with fire there as he gets the package use down. Like maybe he just doesn't like to let it wear off. He's like, I have to use it somewhere.
Yeah. That's just every Corki. Not incredibly deep wards for Team Liquid when they start this Baron. It's more like they're trying to pull a fight in, but Twisted Fate's going to teleport in the backside.
Tempered Fate goes down, just Piglet was hit. Feng is there. Whoa! Dardoch flies straight through. Feng's in a 4v1. Dardoch tries to fly back to help the team. Monsoon to get Feng out of the fight and take the rock down. What a ping pong of a fight. A magical journey means a double kill here for Piglet. And Liquid danced that one out.
Yeah, Dardoch saw the play, and he made the play right there. He went way into Team Impulse to make that kickback. Now it's 5v3 at Baron. Maybe Procxin tries for a steal. He has Flash and Smite. Oh dear.
Oh no. Okay, Matt's all right. Dardoch had the Smite. They were smart enough to get it down. And a very valiant try by Procxin to get himself in there. You got to try at this point. Go for broke.
Yeah. Well, he is now broke after going for broke.
Indeed he is.
Baron on everyone for Team Liquid. They don't suffer a single casualty during that entire engagement.
Wow.
Blade of the Room, King completed by Piglet. Raw Portal being completed by Lourlo. This game's going to be over in the next 5 minutes, I have to say.
See this one more time. So Piglet gets hit, and then they kind of lose their target if they want to go in anybody.
Well, like, you don't even see MASH on the screen, but the Q that Dardoch had landed takes him so close to MASH that he can go in. And then it is a nice 4-man Malphite ultimate to delay, but Dardoch with his Sterix Gauge is able to just kind of walk away from the rest of Team Impulse. I mean, with Malphite ulting in, it's a TF and Nidalee and the Bard that are trying to kill him. I don't really know what Gate was trying to do with that magical journey, but it cost him.
It's just a follow me, walk this way.
Follow me into my untimely demise. Just, okay, sure.
We make weird choices when you're about to die. Yeah. It happens. Wow, it's about an 11,000 gold lead now as Liquid puts their foot down. Here we are driving to the front doorstep, and they are knocking now. No, they do still have a good bit of poke to push Liquid off. They get a good amount of damage every time there's a wave, but these spears, the wild cards coming out are deterring Liquid. Just never mind, Dardoch makes me a liar as he stands in the inhibitor turret. He's like, deterred? What do you mean deterred? This laser? Oh, Piglet gets out. He's actually going to get the heal down. Monsoon's there. Whoa, MASH goes real hard for that, but there is follow-up from the team to start pushing off Liquid. They were overstaying their welcome a little bit, but can they manage that? FeniX dives right into the fight. There's the kill from Dardoch. 2 for FeniX. The lock onto Procxin. The cat could be going down, but it looks like he's able to skitter away safely, trying to get that over the shoulder onto Matt. This is such a back and forth. Liquid's trying to go for the kills, but they know the eyes on the prize is the Nexus, so they start on the inhibitor.
Yep, the luxury of having 2 marksmen right there. Piglet goes down, but FeniX still pumps out a tremendous amount of damage at this stage in the game. They're looking to end it.
It's going to be the first Nexus turret here. A quite clean game coming in from Team Liquid after their 0-2 week and feeling pretty good about this one. A few more kills to rack up the stats. 607 for FeniX on that one. And Liquid coming up with a very nice win. 27 minutes in, 18-3. Team Liquid takes down Team Impulse.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way that Team Liquid wants to start off this week. Coming in, they're right on the verge of losing that playoff spot. 5-7, tied with Echo Fox. They know Echo Fox has a hard schedule. Team Liquid has to play TSM tomorrow, so picking up this win against Team Impulse was absolutely necessary.
Yep.
And they did it cleanly. That's the biggest thing.
It's, like you said, against that game against TSM tomorrow, perfect time as they just took a hit in losses last week. And good matchup on this one. Took them a bit to figure out what the composition was that they wanted, but they said Kog'Maw. Even though we don't have Lourlo, we'll still take it. We can protect Piglet. I think they really needed to protect FeniX more in this one, if anything, for his diving forward, but that just shows how much confidence they had in this game.
Yeah, well, it's oldest trick in the book. You make them look at one thing when the other thing is actually what you're doing on the side. So
exactly.
Here, I messed up the phrasing there, but Kog'Maw was what everyone was focusing on.
I was with you. I knew what you meant.
But it's Corki who was the real threat. I mean, if we look at the damage dealt to champions at the end of the game, Kog'Maw's at 11,000. FeniX's Corki's at 22,000. He did twice as much damage as anyone else on Team Liquid, so...
Kog'Maw's the red herring.
Yeah, that's true. Don't pay attention.
Don't pay attention. Don't look. Impulse trying early. They look to get under the skin very quickly on Lourlo. Same things other teams have done. It just did not happen. Sometimes you try to make that play, and then it, unfortunately after that, the next ones that you don't make fall super far behind because you want to get it back. You kind of want to go for that last inch, and it keeps hitting back.
Yeah, I mean, going back all the way to the early game, it was pretty tragic.
It was.
From Procxin, he had all of the advantages.
Yep.
and his gank was successful. It didn't kill, it didn't burn some
Right.
spells, but
Overall.
it took him out of the lane when his wave was pushed. So it would have been very easy for the Malphite to just freeze the lane onto Lourlo, gain a teleport advantage, and then if you want to, as Nidalee, just camp. Stay in the tri-brush, wait for him to teleport back, and then zone him off the wave. You could have picked up a 1 or 2 level advantage for Malphite. He wouldn't have given up double buffs. He wouldn't have given Lee Sin a lead. And a lot of those things could have been prevented. But that was one of those times. Jungler giving up double buffs is one of the fastest ways, on his first clear, is one of the fastest ways to lose a game.
It's like he needed it.
And
It's like, oh, he's not paying attention. But when you get hit with a spear, you are
like,
fully alert after that moment.
Flashes away, no problem.
So for more on that game, let's send it down to Dom, who's side stage.